Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a strange smell lingering in the air, one that you just couldn't place, but somehow felt you shouldn't ignore? It might sound dramatic, but sometimes your nose picks up silent alarms before anything else does. And here's the real shocker: after 60, certain smells can mean your body is giving you a crucial warning. Miss it, and you could be overlooking the earliest signs of serious health concerns. Surprised? You're not alone. Many people dismiss odd odors as just the house or a passing moment. But if you're 60 or older, every subtle shift in your senses can be an important clue, and ignoring the wrong odor can have bigger consequences than you think. So, why is this such a big deal? Once you hit 60, your sense of smell might not be as sharp as it used to be, but that also makes each noticeable scent even more important to pay attention to. Your body, believe it or not, uses all kinds of signals to keep you in the loop about how it's functioning. Sometimes, that signal is an ache or a pain. But sometimes, it's an aroma that feels out of place. And if you've ever caught even a whiff of something that sets your nerves on edge, that's your body urging you to tune in. Today, we'll unravel 5 specific odors you should never dismiss if you're 60 or older. You'll find out why each strange smell might surface, what it could mean for your overall well-being, and, crucially, what you can do about it in the comfort of your home. Because let's face it, once you pass 60, the last thing you want is to be told over and over to make doctor's appointments or test after test. You want real, practical steps you can take without feeling helpless or panicked. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what your nose might be telling you, and how these early warning scents could be lifesavers if you know how to respond. But don't go anywhere just yet, because the final odor on this list is the one that catches almost everyone off guard. Most people never imagine that a slight, almost sweetish tinge in the air could signal anything major. But for anyone past 60, that faint fragrance could be the biggest red flag of all. Stick around and find out what it is, why it matters, and how to handle it from the comfort of your home. Let's get into the heart of it. Some might wonder, really, smells? That's your big clue. Absolutely. Research has shown that the body can emit specific volatile compounds when certain imbalances occur, almost like an internal alarm system. The challenge is that we often chalk these scents up to daily routines, home environment, or even normal aging. But they're not always normal. Think of them as your body's subtle squeaks and rattles, like an old house settling, but sometimes, those squeaks point to a deeper structural issue. The good news is, if you catch them early, you can often make small, targeted changes that significantly improve your quality of life. So if you notice something that just doesn't smell right, don't rush to hide it with an air freshener. Instead, pause and see if that odor is actually a clue. Because the truth is, while your sense of smell might not be the first thing you think about when it comes to health, it's an underrated tool for catching potential problems before they escalate. And that, my friends, is exactly why you need to stay tuned. Now, let's dive into the 5 key odors to look out for, especially after 60. Each one has a unique story, a particular meaning, and a set of practical steps you can take at home to address it. Prepare to be surprised. Some of these might sound bizarre, or too trivial to matter. But let's see if you change your mind when you learn the science behind them. The first scent you should never brush aside is a persistent fruity or sweet smell on your breath. At first, a sugary sweet odor might seem almost pleasant, but here's where it can get tricky. A surprisingly sweet or fruity breath can be linked with fluctuating blood sugar, particularly in older adults. Sometimes referred to as an acetone smell, it can hint that your body is burning fat instead of carbs, which occasionally happens when your blood sugar is out of balance. Why is this important after 60? Because your metabolism may not respond the same way it did at 30 or 40. Minor disruptions in sugar levels can lead to big swings in how you feel day to day: fatigue, blurred vision, or random bouts of thirst, signs you might not immediately connect to your breath. A subtle fruity scent can be your first sign that your body is trying to manage glucose differently. So what can you do at home if you notice this? Start by watching your daily habits. Keep track of what you eat, and, more importantly, when you eat it. It's helpful to make sure you get a balanced mix of protein, fiber, and healthy fats each day. Avoid large meals heavy in refined sugars or processed carbs. If you catch that fruity scent during the day, grab a glass of water with a pinch of salt or consider a small handful of nuts to steady your blood sugar. Make a daily routine of gently monitoring how you feel, particularly around meals. By being proactive, you can often keep those levels in check. And if the smell persists or you feel consistently off, that's a nudge to consider measuring your blood sugar levels at home using an affordable glucometer. No need to run off to the doctor at the first whiff, but do keep an eye on it. If you want a mental picture of why this matters, think of your body like a car's engine. If the engine starts giving off an unusual smell, say a burnt sweetness, it could indicate you're running too hot or the fuel mixture is off. You wouldn't drive for months ignoring that. Similarly, your body's sweet breath is a sign that something in your fuel system could be out of alignment. Better to catch it early and make simple changes than wait for a bigger breakdown. Next on our list is one that might make you wrinkle your nose, a persistent ammonia-like smell, especially around your sweat or urine. The older we get, the more critical it is to keep tabs on kidney function. When your sweat or urine carries a strong ammonia odor, it can mean your body is struggling to break down proteins properly, or that you're not as hydrated as you should be. In more concerning scenarios, it suggests the kidneys are working overtime to filter out waste products. Why pay attention after 60? Because the kidneys, like any filter, can get worn down over time. You might not notice any changes in your daily life, maybe you still feel strong, maybe your energy is decent, but your body might be processing proteins less efficiently. So that sharp, ammonia smell can be the early alarm bell. What can you do right now, without stepping into a clinic or hospital? Plenty. First, increase your water intake, but do it gradually if you're not used to drinking much. A sudden overload of fluids doesn't help if you aren't consistent. Instead, sip water steadily throughout the day. Consider adding a pinch of electrolytes, like a small amount of unrefined salt, so your body can retain the hydration it needs. You might also want to reduce your intake of heavy proteins at night. Opt for a balanced dinner that includes vegetables, moderate protein, and healthy fats. This way, your kidneys aren't forced to filter out an overload of protein while you sleep. Check how your body responds. If the ammonia-like smell eases up, that's a good sign you're on the right track. But the biggest step, pay attention to frequency. If you only catch this smell once after a sweaty day, no biggie. If it's persistent for weeks, even with good hydration and balanced eating, then you know something needs adjusting. Remember, the kidneys are silent workhorses. They rarely complain until they're really strained, so that ammonia odor can be a heads up to tweak your habits. Moving on, let's address an odor many people brush off too easily, a musty, almost moldy smell coming from the nose or back of the mouth. Ever blown your nose and noticed a stale scent? This could be something as innocent as a mild sinus issue, or a sign of an ongoing infection. After 60, your immune defenses can become less vigilant, and your mucous membranes a bit drier. That dryness can let bacteria or fungi linger longer than they should, contributing to a stale smell that never quite goes away. It might also be linked to issues with sinus drainage. If you've ever had that subtle drip at the back of your throat or keep clearing your throat more than usual, it's possible your sinuses aren't draining properly. Over time, that can lead to occasional infections or a chronic, musty odor that might even affect how your food tastes. What's the at-home approach? Steam inhalation can be surprisingly effective. A simple bowl of warm water with a towel over your head can help loosen any trapped mucus. Add a small pinch of salt to your neti pot if you use one, just be sure to use sterilized water. Some people also find relief in gentle herbal inhalations, like chamomile or thyme, though it's best to keep them mild. Avoid strong, irritating oils that could dry out your nasal passages even more. And try to keep the air in your home slightly humidified if the climate is very dry. Just be careful not to over-humidify, which can encourage mold growth, another source of musty odors. Also, watch out for overuse of antihistamines or nasal sprays. While they can relieve symptoms short-term, they might overly dry your passages, creating the perfect environment for stubborn bacteria. If you notice a musty odor that lingers for more than a couple of weeks, consider fine-tuning your daily routine, like steaming or hydrating your sinuses. Often, that's enough to tip the balance back in favor of good nasal health. The fourth smell that begs attention is a foul, rancid odor that seems to come from your skin or scalp. Not normal body odor that you'd expect after a hot day, but something distinctly heavier, almost oily and sour, that just doesn't wash away easily. This can happen because of hormonal shifts, changes in the microbiome of your skin, or even mild nutrient imbalances. Once you pass 60, your skin's natural oil composition can alter. What used to be normal sebum production might now shift, turning your scalp or certain skin areas into a breeding ground for bacteria that produce strong odors. Imagine noticing that even right after a shower, you still catch a whiff of something off. That's a clue that it's not just sweat, it could be how your skin is interacting with your natural oils. One potential contributor is an imbalance in certain vitamins or minerals, like zinc, which can affect how the body regulates oils. Another possibility is that your gut health has changed, and it's indirectly showing up on your skin. How do you tackle this at home? Start with a mild scalp and skin detox routine. Switch out harsh soaps for gentler, pH-balanced cleansers. Consider washing your hair less frequently but with a gentle shampoo that doesn't strip all natural oils. Because when you overly strip your skin, your body may overcompensate by producing more oil. Pay attention to your diet. Fermented foods like yogurt or kefir can help maintain a healthier gut environment, indirectly benefiting your skin's bacteria balance. Also, examine your daily clothing choices. Synthetic fabrics can trap odors more than breathable cotton or linen, especially if your body chemistry is changing. Try wearing natural fabrics that allow your skin to breathe. And if you suspect you're low in certain nutrients, zinc, magnesium, or even certain B vitamins, experiment with incorporating more nutrient-rich whole foods like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, and whole grains. Often, these small shifts can noticeably reduce persistent skin-related odors. Finally, let's talk about the smell that almost everyone underestimates, a vague, burnt or electrical odor that seems to follow you, even when you're nowhere near electronics or open flames. This one's tricky because it can be purely subjective. You think you smell something burning, but nobody else does. Oddly, some older adults who experience mild neurological changes report phantom scents, often describing them as burnt, smoky, or metallic. Why could this matter after 60? Our nervous system can develop certain glitches, so to speak, where the brain misinterprets signals. This phenomenon can happen for a variety of reasons, everything from mild migraines to changes in olfactory pathways in the brain. The danger? If you consistently smell something like burning wires or charred toast, and there's no actual source, your body might be hinting at how your nerves or even your brain's odor processing centers are coping with aging. Home strategies to manage this. The first step is to confirm there's truly no external source. Check your appliances, your heating systems, make sure you aren't dealing with a real short circuit. If nothing's physically wrong in your environment, that's when you look inward. One approach is to log when these phantom odors appear. Does it happen when you're overtired, stressed, or haven't eaten in a while? Sometimes, balancing your routine, consistent sleep patterns, regular and balanced meals, and mild relaxation techniques helps reduce the frequency of phantom smells. Gentle mental exercises, like crossword puzzles or light memory challenges, can also keep the brain engaged. And don't forget, your hydration levels and mineral intake can also affect nerve function. Low electrolytes might heighten weird sensory experiences. Keep your hydration and nutrient levels steady. Again, no need to guzzle water all at once, but to maintain a slow and steady intake. If the smell consistently appears and starts interfering with your peace of mind or daily function, try adjusting your environment in small ways, like stepping outside into fresh air or inhaling a familiar, soothing aroma, like mild citrus, to reset your senses. Often, reorienting your nose with a pleasant, gentle fragrance can help interrupt phantom scents. Here's the crucial bit: the older you get, the more each sense, touch, taste, sight, smell, can provide valuable warnings about your internal health. Odors, in particular, can be easy to dismiss. They don't always come with pain or big, dramatic symptoms. But ignoring them could be a missed chance to address something early before it grows into a bigger issue. Life beyond 60 can be full of vitality, excitement, and fresh beginnings, but it's also a stage where subtle changes can have a bigger impact than before. Listening to your nose is another way of staying ahead of the curve. No, you don't need to panic over every odd whiff. But you do want to be mindful. If you smell something fruity in your breath for a day, that might just be a sweet dessert you had. But if it lingers for weeks and you notice subtle shifts in your energy levels, that's your invitation to act. Similarly, a one-off musty smell in your nose after spending time in a damp area might just be environmental, while a chronic musty odor could point to a deeper sinus or nasal dryness issue that's best fixed with easy home routines. If there's one thing you take away from this entire discussion, it's that your body is always speaking to you, even in ways you might not expect. By paying closer attention to these 5 smell-related clues, you're giving yourself the gift of early awareness. And that awareness is worth its weight in gold as we age. But here's the thing, knowledge alone doesn't make a difference. It's what you do with that knowledge that counts. If you caught yourself thinking, oh, that fruity breath scenario sounds familiar, or, I've definitely noticed a weird musty smell for weeks, don't just close the video and go back to your usual routine. Put one or two of the home strategies we mentioned into action. See if staying hydrated, altering your meal times, steaming your sinuses, or switching up your shampoo routine changes things. Sometimes, the simplest adjustments have the biggest impact on how you feel day to day. And that brings us to the bigger picture. The next time you step outside and take a breath of fresh air, remember that your sense of smell isn't just a way to enjoy life's pleasures, it's also a built-in safety device. Keep it tuned and keep it in mind. The more you respect these subtle signals, the better equipped you'll be to maintain your independence and vitality in the years ahead. In fact, here's a little challenge for you. Over the next week, pay special attention to any unusual smells in your environment or from your own body. Make a quick note, mental or written, and ask yourself, is this new? Does it persist? Have I changed anything, diet, lifestyle, daily routine? This tiny habit can go a long way in spotting patterns that otherwise remain hidden. Once you start seeing the connections, you'll feel more in control of your health than ever before. So let's wrap it up with a final, vital reminder, your nose can be a powerful ally. Don't underestimate the warnings it might send. By recognizing these 5 key smells, fruity breath, ammonia-like odors, musty sinus scents, rancid skin smells, and phantom burnt aromas, you give yourself a head start on tackling potential issues right at home. You don't have to run to the doctor over every whiff, but you also don't want to wave off your body's subtle hints. Now, as we close, I want to leave you with a simple yet powerful question. What's your body telling you right now that you might be brushing off? Take a moment to reflect. If you found today's insights helpful, consider sharing this video with a friend or loved one who might benefit. After all, we're all in this journey together, and sometimes it's the smallest piece of advice that makes the biggest difference. If you're curious to discover even more ways your body might be sending you secret signals, stay tuned. We have more videos on hidden health indicators that pop up after 60. Until then, keep your senses sharp, trust your instincts, and remember, you're never too old or too young to learn something new about how your body works. And that, truly, is how you keep living not just longer, but better. See you soon.